We're going to introduce the idea of a polynomial today, and a polynomial comes from two parts. We have two parts to this word, poly and nomial. Poly meaning many, nomial meaning terms. A polynomial is an algebraic expression that has a bunch of terms being added together, like 3x squared plus 4x plus 7. This would be a polynomial. And in order to be a polynomial, we need things being added or subtracted together. And there's a little bit of a rule that we have to follow. Polynomials can only have variables raised to exponents that are integer values. If it's not an integer value as an exponent, then it's not a polynomial. So here we have x squared, here we have x to the first. This one doesn't have a variable. So this has three terms, and all three of them, none of them have fractional values as their exponents. So this is indeed a polynomial. We classify polynomials by two ways. We classify polynomials by how many terms they have, as well as what the degree of this polynomial is. And for the degree of a polynomial, it's going to be the sum, or the highest sum, of the exponents in any term. So if I have an x squared and a y cubed, that would be a fifth degree term. And what we're looking for is we're looking for the biggest degree term, and that's the degree of the entire polynomial. So we also talk about special names that we have for these. If we have a first degree polynomial, that we call a linear polynomial. We looked at those were all lines. If it's second degree polynomial, if the highest degree term is 2, we call that quadratic. If the highest degree term is 3, we call that cubic. Fourth degree, quartic. Fifth degree is sometimes called a quintic polynomial. And after that, we stop giving special names. We would just say it's a sixth degree. And we also classify polynomials by how many terms there are. If we have a polynomial that has 2 terms, we call those binomials. And if a polynomial has 3 terms, we call those trinomials. And if it's more than 3 terms, usually we just use the generic term of polynomial. We stop assigning special names to them. So let's put that into practice. Let's classify these polynomials. First, let's look at the degree of each term. This first term, we have x squared and y to the first. That's a third degree term. The second term, we have x squared and y to the fifth. That's a fifth degree term. 2 plus 5 is not 5, it's 7. So what's the degree of this polynomial? The degree of this polynomial is a 7th degree. And how do we classify the terms? Well, there are 2 terms being added together here. This is a 7th degree binomial. The second one, why don't you pause the video and try to classify this right now. So we look at the terms. The first term has x squared, that's second degree. The third term, or the second term, is first degree, and the last term is technically 0th degree. It's x to the 0 power. X to the 0 power is 1. So this is a second degree or quadratic. It's a quadratic trinomial because there are 3 terms here. And the last thing we'll do is we'll add and subtract polynomials together today. And this is actually something we know how to do, and it's something we've been doing. To add and subtract polynomials, all we really do is combine like terms. This is not something new for us. So we're adding these two things together. Do I have anything to combine with the x squared? No. So x squared. 4xy. Do we have any other xy terms? Yes, we do. So we have 4xy plus 3xy. That's 7xy. How about the minus 7, the minus 7x? Those are not like terms. One of them has an x, the other one doesn't. So there's nothing else that we can combine. Minus 7x minus 7. Usually when you're writing down a polynomial, you'll see it written in descending order of degree, so the highest degree term first, and you'll see it written, if you have more than one variable in a term, you'll see those written in alphabetical order, which is why I write 7xy, not 7yx. And now we're subtracting two polynomials. These are both trinomials. The first trinomial is cubic in its degree, and the second trinomial is quadratic. We need to subtract. And be careful here. What I would suggest doing, distribute this negative first and then combine your like terms. So we have x cubed minus 4x squared plus 2x minus 3x squared plus 4x plus 1. Now we can combine these like terms. We've got some x squared terms that we can combine, and we have some x terms that we can combine. The other terms have nothing to combine with. We just write down those as they are. So x cubed doesn't get to join up with anything. We have minus 7x squared plus 6x plus 1. So adding and subtracting polynomials, it's just combining like terms. It's nothing new. Really, the new thing for today is some new vocabulary. That's really all. The actual mathematics is old school.